This is a Leatherman rebar, and this is a bit driver from a Leatherman Wave. Today we're going to be putting these together and get a bit driver on a Leatherman rebar. Welcome in. I'm Zach from multipartstore.com. If you are new to the channel, we do this every Monday. Well, we do this Wednesdays and Mondays, sort of. How do I describe this? Well, we record these live streams on Wednesdays for channel members only, and then release the video after the fact. If you want to become a channel member, we will do a Q&A at the end. That's just for members. And in the meantime, let's start disassembling this Leatherman rebar. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to throw a wrench on the back. These are available from multipartstore.com. And you always want the tools facing to the right in this case. And put the top wrench on. The back wrench is going to stay in place. The top wrench is going to turn. And I think I loosened this up. It could be a little bit tricky the first time to crack loose the thread locker that they use from the factory. That was super easy though. Full disclosure, I did do this video a week ago and recorded it without any sound. So hopefully right now we are not recording without sound, because that would feel very silly. So we're going to pop out that pivot screw, and I'm going to start pushing the pivot back through, but I don't want to go all the way if I can avoid it, because I don't want to reassemble the whole tool. I did manage to just spread the frame out and pop the lock out. We'll deal with that in a moment. So all we need is that pivot to release this Phillips driver. Might not be able to see this on camera, but they are very similar in thickness. Let's grab the calipers real quick. If you need any of this data, make sure to reach out. I do keep a document with most of this stored. So that's a 5mm on the Phillips driver, and the bit driver is going to be 5.1. I think we're going to get away with it without any modification to the tool. We'll just be a little careful when we reapply torque at the end. So what we're going to lose here with that pivot started is we're going to get the saw. There's the Phillips driver. And I believe we just lost, yeah, 2 washers. The first one being one of the little keyed washers. These are not fully round on the inner diameter. Let's go ahead and drop. Which way do we want this? I believe we want to do that round washer next. Okay, and I think that just fell off when we were playing around. So I'm going to set that down gently and hopefully not break anything. And we'll go ahead and grab the Phillips driver next. What we're going to do here, hopefully you can see, I'm just going to move all the tools down to one side of the frame. We're going to slip this in. It's actually easier now that I think about it with that lock bar removed. There's no spring tension on the parts. I'm going to line that up with the pivot and give it a little twist. Little twist to try and get everything to go through. There we go. That now has the Phillips driver in place. Next, I need to grab some tweezers. I keep some little jeweler's tweezers. These are from Beadsmith. I did a video on them a while back. And right now the tips are actually bent. Can you see that? That should be okay. No, I don't know if that's going to be okay. We may have to grind those down. But it'll work for this video. And we're going to slip this washer in between the frame and the pivot gently. And as I said, these are going to have a bit of a flat on the inner diameter, on 2 sides of the inner diameter. So you do need to orient the washer so that it drops onto that pivot. So I'm just going to compress this tool just a little bit and see, hopefully you guys can see a little bit of what I'm doing. Trying to move that washer into place over the pivot. Whoops, it's got a little bit of magnet to it. It's a little bit magnetized. That's really annoying. This may take a moment. I would say that doing these kinds of modifications are not difficult, but they do take some patience. So we are in place. I'm not sure if we're oriented correctly. Let's bring these, whoops, must not have been. keep that pivot exposed enough that we can get a good bite on this washer. So we're going to grab that. And I can actually see that the flat, I'm sure you can't see that, I apologize, but the flat on the pivot is facing up right now. So I'm going to orient that washer to match. We're going to see, I'm having trouble with these bent tips. We may have to fix that real quick, which won't be too difficult. But let me see if I can get this without taking that time. Grip onto this, bring the tool up, and we'll slip this in. It's got a little tension on it, so it'll stay, but still need to get it in place. Here from the top view, you can see that washer's protruding into the opening, which is not bad. We know where it is at least. And this is the part that takes the most patience. I did just hear it drop. So we should be good for now. What I'm going to do is apply a little pressure there and make sure all those tools are slid all the way to closer to me, because we're going to try and move this washer down onto that pivot a little bit more. It's kind of floating up near the top. I'm just applying pressure down on the, whoops, it's fighting me again, and it just slipped off. That's how this goes sometimes. I'm gonna really quickly, I'm gonna just clean up the tips of these tweezers because they're getting in the way. So I've got a medium grit diamond stone here, and I'm just gonna get rid of those burrs that I've created I just over exerted these tweezers the last time I was using them. Still a bit on there. Could use a file for this as well. Just thought this would be a little bit gentler. Make sure the tips are lined up. That looks pretty good. Let's try this again. I'm gonna grab our washer just with the tips of these tweezers. I'm going to check our orientation here. And there, that was the trick right there. We are now firmly seated on that pivot. So the last piece is the saw blade here. We're going to make sure we go over that washer, and the springs, the frame's kind of springing apart, and there we just dropped into place. So, like I said, takes patience, doesn't necessarily take a lot of thought. Let's get this lock bar back in place. This just has some pips that drop into a couple of holes on the frame, and there's this bar here is the spring actuator. So let's try and drop this into one side. I'm going to try and do this without losing any tools, because that would be frustrating. Not that I'm any stranger to being frustrated on camera. And we will just splay that frame out ever so slightly and give it a nice firm push, and it looks like it is fully back in place. Now we've got that pivot hole exposed. Let's grab our screw and tighten this up. It's a really simple mod for those that are just getting into it. Let's go ahead and back that screw up and not be silly here. And we can tighten this up. These wrenches are available at multipartstore.com if you're interested, as well as the parts we used in this, the bit driver. Get that separate without having to purchase a whole tool. And we tighten that up. We want to tighten it up more than we need, usually. And let's check everything. We've got two tools open there. It's a little snug. I think we're okay though. Feels solid but firm. Solid but firm? I guess it's both of those. I don't know. I am going to just try and back that screw off. Maybe a quarter turn, probably not even. And that's how we set tension on a tool like this. Just that little bit of a turn was enough Oh yeah, that's nice and smooth. Hey, let's finish it off right. We'll grab a bit of KPL, which is my lube of choice for knives like this. And we're just gonna put a couple of drops at each friction point. And we'll play with the tools to get that worked into place. Careful of the knife blade, of course. And can I grab this saw? Yes, of course I can. We'll get that worked in as well. That is a really simple mod, but hopefully it's a good example of what you can do with some of the parts and accessories at multipartstore.com. If you want to watch these mods live, jump over to our channel and become a member. It's 99 cents a month. Otherwise, you can always watch these videos after the fact. At this point, we're going to jump into Q&A for any members. But thank you all for watching after the fact, and we'll catch you next Wednesday for the live stream or next Monday for the release of another Mod Monday.